Yeah, that would have been funnier if actually it's like when they're walking around in the city, he's got his mask on. Like,
Right.
Well, I am an escaped convict, you know. I'm trying to be incognito.
Hail, Internet! It's Paul. It's Matt. The Dork Lords. We are here talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 3, Power Broker. We open with a commercial for the Global Repatriation Council, easy for me to say, with their slogan, Rest, Restore, Rebuild. But then we cut immediately to Captain America interrogating the folks who are harboring the Flag Smashers on behalf of this GRC. He gets spit in the face. He does the do you know who I am? And I go, oh, okay. So that's how we start.
And it hasn't been that long, so there's a possibility that he doesn't know
You're
who
right.
he is.
Who? What? You don't look like Steve Rogers.
I always thought you'd be taller.
We end with Bucky being confronted by a member of the Dora Milaje. They want Zemo for good reason. Zemo killed T'Challa's father, King T'Chaka, framed Bucky for it, and now he's on the loose, and so Wakanda, wants justice. And so that's how we end on that little cliffhanger of how's Bucky gonna talk his way out of that moment. Before we go on any further, Paul, what'd you think of Episode 3, Power Broker?
I wasn't in love with it.
Okay.
Probably the thing that hit me the wrong way the most was I didn't need to see. They sort of rewrote the character of Sharon Carter completely, and I didn't love Emily Van Camp in the role in any of the previous iterations, and now that she's supposed to be bitter because of being.
She's very disillusioned.
Yeah, it just didn't come off for me.
Okay. Okay.
It was interesting to see Zemo again, but the prison break was,
it was rushed.
I didn't want to. Yeah, it's not like I wanted more of it or whatever, but it's kind of hard to believe. And then they don't explain if he could have done that before, why didn't he do it before? So why is it now that I have some people outside to hang out with, now I want to break out?
Well, now it sounds like I enjoyed the episode perhaps a little more than you, but I did have a couple issues with it, and one of them revolves around that, which is they're awfully casual for guys walking around with an escaped supervillain.
Yeah.
They're on what appears to be a public airport tarmac in broad daylight. You see other planes and other hangars around, and they're da-da-da-da-da, walk on the plane with Baron Zemo. Sam's sister calls him on his cell phone.
Yes.
He's Googling at one point stolen artwork. So he's connected to the internet. He talks to Torres and Torres, I don't need the information on the thing. So they're fugitives at this point, right? They've got Zemo with them. That guy is a
they're certainly
wanted man.
They're not responsible for breaking him out.
True, but they're with him.
Maybe a technicality, but yes, they're with him. Yes, they're aiding and abetting his escape.
It's just how does that work? It just seems. Plus the fact that no one seems to know Sam in that moment, oh, you're Smiling Tiger, which is a character from the comics, but just put on an outfit. He didn't even have to put on any disguise at all, and he gets recognized in other places. But for him to just be, no one in this bar or in this town suspects that maybe, especially since Bucky is there, that maybe Falcon is also. Anyway, just they feel like they were just we wanted this to go smoothly, so it's fine. He put on a jacket. You can't tell who that is. Who is that? I don't know.
Yeah.
He drank some snake guts. That proves it. He's got to be Smiling Tiger.
That's one of those times when it's okay, we're going to create a little Easter egg so people who know this character are seeing, him in this capacity. But, you just had to drink something a little strange, and then it was okay.
Okay,
so
you proved yourself.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that you look exactly like that Avenger we know. But,
no. Yeah, so a number of that, to me, sort of fell short.
Gotcha. So what are some things that were interesting? here's a plot line that I think is going to come to fruition by the end. We're already halfway through at this point, episode 3.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll talk a little bit more about this, but essentially, they break out. Bucky breaks Zemo out in order to have Zemo help track down the super soldiers and the super serum.
Wait, they don't break him out. They just wait outside until he breaks out.
He dropped a little note that said, "Attack that guy before he kills you."
Oh, that's right. That's true. That's true. Bucky was there. He dropped a note, and that
so he was the one that started the fight.
You're right. You're right. No, he's totally responsible.
So he's totally responsible. Without that fight, apparently, all the costuming that Zemo did, all the little none of that would have worked.
No, it wouldn't have worked at all.
He's waiting weeks for a fight to break out. Damn it. Yeah. Thank God for that little slip of paper. Anyway, the idea being that, hey, Zemo will play ball with us because Zemo doesn't want superheroes to exist either. So it's like enemy of my enemy, basically.
Yeah.
And so that seems to hold in this episode, but there's no way that's going to hold. Frankly, it seems like a dumb idea. I mean, not like not like, oh, that makes for a bad plot. It's just, come on. Guys, this guy's a supervillain that did his best to destroy you in the recent past. What? You gonna break him out and walk around with him? Let him have a gun? Through all these different machinations and through the help of Sharon Carter, they're in Madripoor, this kind of lawless city, and they find the doctor, Dr. Nagel, who had basically picked up where Erskine left off and perfected a version of the super soldier serum. Notably, the way he perfected it was he took Isaiah Bradley's blood. And so he had 20 vials. They got stolen. We've seen 8 of them, I guess, were used, but that means there's still a few out there. But Zemo, once he gets the information, kills Nagel. The lab blows up. Theoretically, we've got now a finite number of vials available. Yeah. But what that means to me is, if Zemo's plan, which it seems to be, is to get rid of the possibility of super soldiers, Isaiah Bradley has got to be a target for him, right? I mean, in other words, that's the guy that can create more serum. I need to get rid of the supply. So I feel like maybe a MacGuffin towards the end of this last 3 episodes will be that Zemo somehow separates himself from the group, and his goal is to kill Isaiah Bradley, perhaps. Yeah? No?
Yeah, I guess it's possible. I don't know if that's why that particular threat exists. I think it's possible.
Okay. I was thinking to myself that I felt like with Carl Lumley and this really engaging plot line, it's weird to just introduce it for 5 minutes and then never bring it up again. So I figured they're going to find a way to bring him back into it. And maybe since they name dropped him here as like the source of the great serum, to me the logical progression would be that Zemo wants to get rid of that source.
I guess that would occur, after they, dramatically I could see it happening, after they take care of all these other super soldiers.
Exactly. Like, hey, we've helped each other, now I'm out.
It's like, let's see, should I stop the one who's just chilling in a house or the ones that are running around stealing stuff?
I agree. Yeah. In the short term, it's Karli and the Flag Smashers, but there's this source out there, and so anyway, just that's my theory is perhaps that's how we bring Isaiah Bradley back into it. Well, a couple of interesting things. One was that Bucky's notebook is the same notebook we find out that Cap used.
Yeah.
So that's a cool Easter egg. I guess Cap gave it to him at some point, maybe, to be like, hey, this helped me adjust. They do a callback to the move your seat back gag.
Yes, they do.
Zemo likes Marvin Gaye, which I like that. I like the comment where he's like, he's out of line, but he's right. Like that. And it was funny too because I like the way that scene played out in that Bucky's like, look, I like Marvin Gaye. I like him. And so it's not that he's like, I don't like the music, but they can tell from his face that he's like, oh, I mean, he's fine. So they're like, no, you don't like him enough. No, I like him. I like him. It's fine. Oh. Anyway, that was good.
It does seem more plausible that someone who is that old would have more difficulty adjusting to popular culture than less.
Yeah, yeah, good point. Well, we see, Zemo's got the dance moves, so there's that. So Battlestar, I still can't get over that name, but anyway, Battlestar, he's actually being kind of the voice of reason. Seems like he's not in there much, right? We see Captain America and Battlestar at the beginning, and we see them at the end, like deciding, hey, let's go. They figure out Bucky and Falcon probably broke Zemo out of prison. Let's go track him down. Right. But in that process, in those few moments, we see Battlestar is kind of, he talks up like what the Flag Smashers, like, hey, look, they're providing food and stuff. That's a popular thing. And hey, do you think is this a good idea that do we need to talk to the government first? Do we feel like maybe we might find him going against Captain America maybe by the end or something? That somehow they're at odds? Is that possible?
Wait, why would they be? I'm not following.
Well, Captain America is just like gung-ho on doing the mission, and Flag Smashers are terrible, and we need to, squash them. And I just wonder if there'll be a moment where Captain America wants to go too far, and so Battlestar's like, look, I'm out. I can't. No. What you're trying to do is you are no longer Captain America. You're crossing the line. I'm out of this.
I guess that's possible. I mean, for me, we were operating on the thought that somehow that John Walker and Battlestar would get the serum, super soldier serum.
And there's 12 vials out there. I think John Walker
through. We assumed that it was through the power broker, but now it seems as if maybe it has 1 or 2 vials or something, and they stole the rest. It just seems less likely that the Flag Smashers would be involved. Like, okay, well, if you give you this super serum, you're gonna let us go.
That's true.
I mean,
That's true.
why? What's the Flag Smashers' motivation? So, it would be interesting if it was just John Walker. While I'd say that, he is perhaps the voice of reason, dramatically, he's supposed to do it too. I mean, the comics. So,
gotcha. Okay.
I feel like, if I think I'd assumed that at some point they just really would see how outmatched they are, and so that would cause them to do it.
Yeah.
And so. So I don't know. And we still haven't met the power broker. I mean, I really don't like people's. I can see how people kind of feel like conservation of characters here, where they imagine that Sharon Carter is the. That just seems stupid.
I feel like she works.
And in fact, it makes me really wonder why you would bring AO in. When we still haven't met the pawnbroker yet. I mean, so it's just sort of like, did we need to see? I mean, I guess if you just want the more the merrier, I guess, in this band of
you're a good point.
Misfits,
I don't think we've met the power broker yet. I think you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. We got 3 episodes left. I mean, Zemo could pull it off, but his motives don't align with the power brokers, unless it's an incredibly long. He was reading Machiavelli. I guess you could be like, if I do all these things and you break me out of prison and then I pretend to go to Madripoor and be on,
Yeah, it's like, the reason why I developed the super soldier serum is to find the people who want to be super soldiers.
Right.
Kill them.
Let them take
and
then kill them.
She stole it, so it's like, I'm going to kill you for stealing it. It's like, my plan is to give people the super soldiers and then kill them later on once they run around a little bit.
Yeah, it seems. If that turns out to be the case, I'd be like, okay. Yeah. That only worked because somebody wrote it on paper, but yeah. So I don't think Zemo's a power broker, and like you, I don't think Sharon Carter is a power broker either. I do feel like she's got all these stolen artifacts and all that stuff. I could see that she does business with the power broker. And so when she says at the end, like, we got trouble, I could imagine she's like, we got to smooth this over with the power broker somehow. So her loyalty will probably be tested, but I feel like she's going to side with the heroes in the end. She's got too much loyalty built up over years, I would think. Well, sure, they show her as like disillusioned person in this episode. She still helps them. And boy, that
was the other thing that was like, why would she believe that Sam Wilson could get her a pardon. I mean, what?
That seems to be the
he can just pass out pardons. He can just pass out pardons. Sam.
He's saying like, hey, Bucky got a pardon, and look at all the terrible things he did. So obviously, if you help him out,
I think it's a little different when you've been tortured for 50 years. I just thought that Cap and Falcon were nice guys, so I stole the stuff against orders. She never needed to register like the rest of them, but she stole their stuff for them. So
Also, I feel like I could be wrong because it was a little unclear. So we see a quick scene of she's at the bar in Madripoor when they come in, so she sees them and knows who they are. And then I think it's her that kills the. I think their name is Selby. There's like the middle management woman who's like, kill them, and then suddenly from out of nowhere, like a sniper bullet takes her out. You know what I'm talking about? And we don't necessarily know, but I assume that Sharon Carter was like on the roof with a sniper rifle and like took this woman out. Yeah, otherwise it's like, who knows how did she die? And I'll mention this too. That was the scene where the reason she says kill them is because Sam gets a phone call. You're like, dude, come on now.
Yeah, it would make more sense for the guy who has never had a phone for like 100 years or whatever to be like,
I forgot. I didn't realize I could turn that off. But also, I'll say this: the way he talks to his sister Sarah is weird in that context too, because he says something like, she's like, hey, I need to talk about that thing, and he's like, what thing? Tell me exactly what thing you want to talk about. And I'm like, why are you encouraging? Like, as little info as possible would be better. So I would, if I'm in that situation, I'm Sam. Oh God, why did I turn that phone off? I'd be like, oh right, that thing with the bank. Well, we'll make sure we get the bank online. Thanks, Sarah. Talk to you later. Bye. I'm like, but he's like, please, extemporaneously chat about all the things that are wrong in our lives. Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's kind of goofy.
That was goofy. It was goofy. We're talking about things that maybe were a little odd in this episode. One other thing, I guess, as long as we're talking odd things, something that
it fits in perfectly with me not liking the episode.
Oh, good point.
I'm good.
Good. You're great. I'm having to defend myself. No, it was good. Damn it. But there's the scene where Karli is told, like, hey, this person you care about, I think Danya Madani, I think is her name. She's dying. And so she goes in and like says, I'm sorry, and she's probably preemptively apologizing for the explosion she's about to do to set the bomb off. But the weird part is, who is talking to her? It's like, it's almost like an internal narrator, like, oh, so-and-so, you should go see her. And she walks in, you see her walk into this building, and then the voice continues, but there's no one there? And you're like, who? What? I mean, it felt, I don't know, like that felt like a weird...
Maybe it was a COVID edit.
Yeah, I guess so. Because it was like, what, okay, does she have an internal monologue of like an old sage that tells her what to do? So Karli and the rest of the Flag Smashers steal supplies from the GRC. According to them, they've been hoarding these supplies. But then, unbeknownst to the rest of the crew, it seems, Karli has planted a bomb. And so they're like, oh, she's like, no, you might want to put the seatbelt on now. And then boom, and then they kill a bunch of folks. And so it's kind of one of those, they've crossed this line, which references back to the previous episode, which is like, after tomorrow, we're in this. So I guess that's what she's referring to. They're now like official terrorists. They were probably terrorists before, but now they're like, oh, we just blew up a GRC facility, killed some folks. So we've crossed the Rubicon, and now desperately gonna be hunted after. Interesting conversation where Sam is talking to Bucky and wondering aloud whether he should have just destroyed the shield. Like the shield is almost cursed in a way that it seems like it's the cause of so much harm. And Bucky, is obviously on the other side of that. Like, no, it's a symbol and we need to cherish it.
Yeah, I mean, the more that this goes on, it makes it even more curious about how they're going to get the shield back. I mean, does he just leave it in a hotel room or something?
Right. Bucky's going to do it, right? Bucky's like, I'm getting the shield back.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, we've seen images of them throwing the shield around back in Louisiana. So I'm like, man, okay, yeah, you're right. When does that happen?
Yeah, we still haven't seen Sam throwing it around. Yeah,
that also means they have to go back to Louisiana.
I just hope it all makes sense.
That said, I'm still enjoying. I enjoy the characters of Falcon.
Yeah, I enjoy the characters. That's why it's not my favorite episode.
I like Zemo as well.
I like Zemo, even though it's still a stretch to have him in that situation.
Well, it's interesting. He puts the mask on.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, this is the turn. This is where he's going to like leave them and go. But no, then he's like drives up in a car and he's like, hop in. Yeah. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I just wore the mask for a couple of minutes. I'm good.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay.
It's like, I have to put this mask on, so it makes it easier for stuntmen to do what I'm doing. And also, fans like it. So
I'm going to put this mask on. Because he hasn't really been in hiding at all, except for that 2-minute period where he put a mask on and shot some guys.
That would have been funnier if actually it's like when they're walking around in the city, he's got his mask on.
Right.
Like, well, I am an escaped convict, I'm trying to be incognito.
And then, an escaped convict is an understatement. I mean, that guy would be certainly one of the most sought-after people in the world, one would think.
Yeah, one would think.
One would think. And plus, let's put it this way. Now that it seems like the cat's out of the bag, at least Captain America's figured it out. It's, and actually, in the bar, when Bucky pretends to be under Zemo's control, there's people filming. There's iPhones filming him fighting. So they're criminals now, right? I mean, like, how are they gonna, when they get back to the States? You would think they would immediately go into a lockup at that point.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it may be one of those situations where they, unfortunately, they hand wave. The way that Hayward.
I don't like your methods, but
the way that Hayward was going to be like, hey, I took care of the situation. It doesn't matter what I did to get there.
Which is what Captain America says in this episode, right at the very end. He's like, hey, you think they're going to care about how we did it if we just pull this off?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so that's what people think. Basically, the ends justify the means.
They'll get the loose cannon speech. You guys are loose cannons.
Yeah.
You do it again, you're out. But thanks anyway.
Which is perfect for this is a buddy cop thing.
Right.
So we're due.
We're due for a loose cannon speech.
Yeah, we are.
We need a hard-edged, police captain though. I'm not sure that we have that in this yet. But anyway. So I'm not sure where they're going. As you say, they've got so many irons in the fire now, right? You've got You got Falcon and Bucky. You got the Flag Smashers. You got the Power Broker. You got Sharon Carter. You got Zemo, and now you've got Wakanda.
And
you got Isaiah Bradley.
Yeah.
So you're like, wait, you got 3 episodes?
Yeah.
Essentially less than 3 hours of time to like wrap all of those plot lines up.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
Seems difficult. But I'm game to see how they do this, Paul.
Yes.
I'm in.
I'm concerned if this AO scenes were recorded before or after Chadwick Boseman's death.
So you're thinking maybe we get a Chadwick Boseman appearance, is what you're saying?
No. But a mention of...
Because he was sick for a long time.
Yeah. So, I wonder if it would be like, well, I guess they won't... I guess they could be waiting to deal with it in Black Panther.
Yes,
so
I'm almost sure they are. I think in this moment, in the MCU timeline, T'Challa is alive. I think he's still around. I think it's just we're a few months out, maybe 6 months or something like that, out from the snap undoing itself. So he's still around.
Yeah.
As a character, but not as an actor. So I think you're right. I think they're gonna probably Black Panther 2 is where they deal with his demise. So yeah, good point. They could reference him in this. In fact, probably will. Right? I mean, no reason not to if you're going to have representatives of Wakanda who are interested in taking out Zemo. So anyway, we'll be back talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 4. Also, really cool trailer for Loki dropped. Looking forward to that show quite a bit. Really cool. Speaking of lots of plot threads, but let's do it. Bring it on. So anyway, we'll be back talking about all that. Thank you as always, Paul. Appreciate it, good sir.
Sure.
And we'll talk to you guys next time.